The energy crisis just got a lot worse. I'm going to explain why this is going to affect Bitcoin in a massive way. But first, please like, subscribe, check us down below for our CT Club, where you get our trade alerts, portfolio, and you get to see how we are dealing with this bear market. Some of the coins have done pretty well compared to what Bitcoin has been doing lately. First off, why did the market get obliterated? We had the 10-year yield spike into the 3.35% range, which is the debt market, you know? So that means risk on trades are off the table essentially. So that's why the stock market fell. That's partly why Bitcoin fell. I think Bitcoin had what you call over-leveraged traders, and whales definitely knew how to clean the floor on that one. So they took out all that liquidity, and now we're left with under $18,000 or $19,000 right now. So we definitely have bought that dip, which is great. And wouldn't be surprised if we do experience more dips like this. Who knows, especially with what I'm about to tell you. So yes, the debt market, it is kind of unstable, but the Federal Reserve is backstopping that debt market. So what they're doing is they're printing currency and they're injecting it into that debt market. Why? Because they're doing what you call debt monetization. They're buying their own debt. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is real. I know it sounds ridiculous, but who else is going to buy their debt? Nobody. The government is going to buy their own debt, or the Federal Reserve. What now? Well, expect a lot more inflation. These are ways that central banks can print and print and print, right? So they set up a situation, then that allows them to print, and that's what they're going to continue to do. Let's go over to Europe, which is in dire situation right now. I'm not going to believe this number, but $1.5 trillion in margin calls over the past week, pretty much. How did that happen? Energy companies went short energy essentially. So they had a pullback of the price of gas prices, right? Because people are like, well, we need to ration gas because it's really expensive. And also OPEC had decided to, with oil, to cut back production. And also Nord Stream 1, which is the gas pipeline coming from or going to Europe, is shut down still. And so that created an instant smash up 35% in gas prices. So keep in mind, energy companies went short gas, energy prices spiked 35% when they're shorting because they're trying to hedge their bet, because they don't know how far energy is going to drop. Well, it ended up spiking. These people are getting a $1.5 trillion margin call right now, which is $1,500 billion. And I told everybody that governments would use this scenario, this energy crisis, to print more and more currency. And I told you how they would do that. How did I know? Because governments are very easy to predict now, especially when you see something happen. You're like, okay, if you're a central bank, what would you do in their shoes? And that's what I do with myself. I put myself in their shoes. I'm like, oh, this would be a great time to go ahead and create a war or something that creates an energy crisis, which they knew would happen, and then go ahead and bail them out, So people can't afford their energy prices. Right now, I think like energy prices altogether in Europe is going to rise $2 trillion altogether with everybody. So who's gonna help people afford their businesses? Otherwise, they're going out of business. People can't afford that. So they're going to the government to do it. Government's going to be the buyer and lender of last resort. So they are going ahead and buying up. They're helping everybody. They're going to be the savior of the world, essentially. That's what they're propping themselves up to do. That's going to create a lot of monetary inflation. Monetary inflation is what Bitcoin thrives in. That's what it was born for. So this is the new Lehman Brothers, essentially. And the world is going to be waking up to another world, essentially, because governments are going to be printing much more currency. This energy crisis is not going to go away anytime soon. Governments are going to print lots of currency, creating monetary inflation, and Bitcoin's going to go up because of it during the long run. In the short run, who knows what happens? Nobody knows, essentially. The debt market is kind of unstable. We'll see what happens. I do think the Federal Reserve is going to backstop the bond yields from rising too much, okay? And if they, the whole reason why it stopped at 3.35% today was because the Federal Reserve injected a bunch of currency in there to stop it from rising, all right? So they're literally buying their debt. Okay, that's all I have. Please like, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.